You might remember that Ron DeSantis decided that he was gonna get a little bit of cred on the right by spending literally millions of dollars from Florida taxpayers to effectively kidnap migrants in Texas and then fly them to a different state. None of this has anything to do with Florida, of course, except for the fact that Florida citizens' dollars are being spent to do this little culture war scheme. Well, whether you remember it or not, others do, including the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, because they have filed a criminal case related to the migrant relocation efforts. I would say racist stunt efforts, but I don't write for Axios or the Washington Post. Anyway, the case revolves around flights they arranged that transported 49 undocumented migrants from San Antonio to Martha's Vineyard. And so here's a spokesperson for the Bexar County Sheriff's Office saying the charge filed is unlawful restraint, and several accounts were filed, both misdemeanor and felony. Now he says that the flights were voluntary, okay? Many are concerned that the migrants were lured under false pretenses. Many of the migrants have said that they were lied to about basically every part of this. And again, one of the things that I think a lot of people found really suspicious about this was that why are you flying migrants from Texas to Martha's Vineyard? Neither of those places are in Florida. Well, he had said at the time he was trying to block immigrants from eventually arriving in Florida. That's stupid. It's BS. It's not why he was doing it. He was doing it to raise his profile to run for president. The idea that you can abduct people in Texas so that someday they don't wander across Louisiana and Georgia and Mississippi and all that stuff and then eventually get to you, that's not how the law works, literally at all. And so, look, he's running for president. He's a governor. He's powerful, and for all of those reasons, we give great discretion to powerful people to break all the laws that they want, Dan. But that said, it is moving towards there being some potential legal consequences for what he did. What do you make of it?
Good, because I know this is based on the American justice system. I think undocumented immigrants are covered to certain aspects of the American justice system. One of which is innocent until proven guilty. So you can't say that, oh, we think they might come to Florida, so as a preventative measure, we captured them and sent them to Martha's Vineyard or Penn Station in New York or Sacramento in California, as we're gonna get to in a moment here. Like, this is, as we covered when it was happening, it's a completely inhumane way to deal with the immigration crisis. And doesn't really show DeSantis as being a solutions-oriented governor. I mean, there are a lot of ways we can handle the influx of migrants that are coming or not coming, depending on Fox News talking about it, because that would show caravan photos. A lot of times they're not coming, but there's a lot of services that we could work on. I think Democratic governors, maybe if they're not implementing it all the right ways, they have better ideas and more humane ideas, because the fact that the American economy, the American, body politic relies on immigrants and a process for that to exist. The idea of putting illegal on there is just an arbitrary thing, yet another way conservatives, both Democrats and Republicans, can use to separate us from other people. But yeah, DeSantis's stunts like this, they're costing taxpayer money. They're not really doing anything but exactly being a political stunt. So there should be some accountability for it. And I would love there to be some legal consequences for it. I'm not sure what, but it's just so inhumane what he's doing. Like, DeSantis, shoes on the other foot, he wouldn't want his family treated like that. He would fight as hard as he could to make sure his family wasn't treated like that.
100%.
But yeah, but these people are powerless around DeSantis, and so they're political chess pieces. And so that, in addition to, let's laugh at putting fingers Ron, and oh, look at his weird face, and he couldn't kiss a baby or do politics to save his life. He's actually a ghoul. He's actually a fascist. He's actually a venomous human being.
100%.
And you can't hide that behind his kind of hokey, dumbass kind of demeanor.
100%, yeah. And look, I think it seems pretty obvious to people. I can't see somebody and be like, hey, you wanna ride to, you're waiting to go somewhere? I'm gonna pick you up in an Uber and I'm just gonna drive you to Montana and drop you off. You get that, you can't do that, right? So why does the governor get to do that? Why does he get to do that to 49 people? That doesn't make any sense. Just the fact that millions of dollars were spent doesn't make it a crime. Just because it was more organized and better funded doesn't make it not a crime. Anyway, oh, by the way, I was updated that I apparently was mispronouncing Bexar County. I wanna be very clear though, lest I suffer some sort of charges. Many people think, well, he's not from Texas, so that's why he's mangling that name. I wanna be very clear, I lived in Texas for more than 5 years. I'm still mangling the name. because I lived in Austin and I guess I wasn't super close to that area. So I should probably know how to pronounce it. Apologies to all of the people living in that area. Anyway, yes, by the way, as you mentioned, they are also now looking into him doing effectively the same thing in spending money more recently to pick migrants up, I believe from Texas once again, and then send them to Sacramento. So that is now being investigated. Gavin Newsom actually tweeted that Ron DeSantis was a small, pathetic man and brought up the kidnapping charges. He's still doing this. He's spending more money. You cannot kidnap people, lie to them, and drop them off on the other side of the country. And I should not need to tell full-grown adults that.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.